Good evening, everybody. Hey, thanks for joining me. It's Curtis. Thanks for watching and joining. We're going to cover Alphabet, what everybody known as Google. Okay, today. So Google's a hot stock. Obviously, I mean with AI, right? They're one of the largest capex spenders out there. We want to know what's going on with Alphabet and what they've got going on next. Okay, first off, I'm going to show you guys this chart right here. What they've, how what they've achieved so far in the past a few years. Okay, so we've got 5 years out right now. Obviously, I mean they've climbed a lot in the past year, just like all these other AI companies. Okay, and in fact, last year, I mean, they came out of left field. I mean, a lot of people weren't anticipating them because the cloud services weren't all that hot at that time. So if you take a look, okay, I'm gonna go 1 year out right here. Okay, so we've got year to date, January 2026. You know what? I'm sorry. I'm gonna go back out a little further than that. Okay, so we've got July 2025, right? They were at about $177 ish, and then they started climbing quite a bit, almost doubled at about $335, and took a little slump like every other tech stock after the Christmas season at the New Year earlier this year. Went back down, but overtook their all-time highs and roughly close to $400 right there. So Alphabet, nonetheless, right? They're a leader in this world. They are a leader in the AI world, and they are contributing a lot to the capital expenditure, which is all the spending to build out the artificial intelligence world for us. And of course, one thing that caught my eye is this article, and I want to share it with you all. So this one right here obviously caught my eye because it says Warren Buffett just tripled down on the stock that Bill Ackman is selling. Okay, so I'm thinking to myself, Warren Buffett stepped down as CEO already, right? And so I mean, isn't somebody else in charge right now? That's my first thought. And then so Warren Buffett, he's almost 100 years old. I mean, what does he? So that was, it's kind of like a clickbait for me. But anyways, Warren Buffett just tripled down on the stock that Bill Ackman is selling. I'll go through a couple of these points right here real quick for everybody. Berkshire tripled its Alphabet stake to 58 million shares, $17 billion, while Ackman liquidated 95% of his position and pivoted to Microsoft, right? I mean, that's what we heard, in the past. I don't know how long it was ago, maybe a month ago, when Ackman was all over Microsoft practically. So, anyways, now Berkshire has a large stake in Alphabet. Okay, you guys got to remember they had a huge stake in Apple prior. But anyways, next bullet point here, we've got Google's cloud backlog nearly doubled to 460 billion in contracted future demand as Alphabet trades at a forward PE of 25, below the S&P 500 average. All right. Ackman, his Microsoft bet targets a $37 billion AI run rate and 627 billion commercial backlog after the stock fell 19% year to date. If we'll get into Microsoft in the future, but essentially Microsoft was kind of consolidating, and Ackman thought it was a good opportunity. They did have a catalyst with Ackman, moving that way as well. So, anyways, I'll read this first line for us, right? Berkshire Hathaway, now run by CEO Greg Abel, right? That's what I had mentioned earlier. Some other guys running it now. It's Greg Abel with Warren Buffett serving as chairman. So Warren hasn't exactly left. I mean, he's still, the head of the place, obviously, but disclosed in Q1 2026 13F filings that it nearly tripled its Alphabet stake to roughly 57.8 million shares, worth about 16.6 billion. That was the $17 billion figure that we covered just earlier. So yeah, I mean, it's this. This is going to be a catalyst. It serves as practically proof that, you know what, I mean, the smart money, the big guys are in this. I mean, it's Warren Buffett, greatest investor to have ever lived, right? I mean, if he's buying it, I mean, that obviously is going to lead to a lot of folks liking the stock as well, and it serves as a catalyst. This was published June 18th. I just want to share that with you guys, which was yesterday afternoon. Okay. Now let's move to the next one here. I've got this stock right. I mean, this article right here, which is interesting because a part of Alphabet's business, Google's business, right? So Waymo has a Tesla-like recall. What it means for Alphabet stock, and again, this one is was put out yesterday, June 18th, yesterday afternoon at 4 o'clock. So key points: Waymo is recalling 3,871 robo taxis to correct software that could allow entry into freeway construction zones. Okay. I haven't myself gotten into a Waymo yet. If you have, drop into the comments. Let me know how it's like. I mean, that's one thing that I would absolutely encourage folks is if you want to see where technology is going. Hey, we got to get into one of those. We got to get into one of those self-driving taxis, right? And I haven't had the chance to get out to the Bay Area where they have these taxis, but maybe one of these days. Bullet point number 2: despite edge cases like construction zones, robo taxis show a 90% reduction in serious accidents versus human drivers. Okay, that is right now. I'm curious. I mean, what form of data they're getting that from? It would be good if they had some sort of something to credible to back that up right now. But I mean, obviously, 90% reduction in serious accidents. I mean, that's a win. But again, like I said, I mean, I think like anything new, I mean, I don't, in my opinion, we don't have enough data yet. But that's why, again, I said I'd like to see some credible data on that right there. I can probably dig into it, but not in this video here. Next bullet point here, we got Waymo operates at least 3,800 robo taxis in 11 cities, with expansion continuing for the Alphabet owned service. So, my whole thing is, I mean, we're looking into this to see how it affects Alphabet stocks, right? And I had scanned through here earlier. Essentially, I came down to this one right here. Okay, this paragraph: the Waymo recall didn't appear to significantly affect Alphabet stock. Shares rose 1.2%, closing at $368, while S&P 500 up 1.08%, added 1.1% coming into Thursday trading. Alphabet stock was up 110% over the past 12 years. Okay, so I mean, that's the thing, right? With new technology, with AI, I mean, we're in it practically speculating for the most part, and we are buying what it could potentially be. I feel like that's how the whole market has transformed into. It's gone really away from a lot of value to what can the stock really, or what can that company really become. And so, anyways, um, pretty cool stuff with Waymo. We'll see how that works out in the future, and but something to keep an eye on. And then I've got this last article here. Okay, Google is using Nvidia's playbook to build a rival AI chip business. Now, you all have heard of the TPUs, right? Which is like the competitor to the GPUs, tensor processing units made by Alphabet, Google, and I mean, apparently because of the success of Gemini, a lot of business is looking into moving over to the Google TPUs. And so, anyways, I'm going to read a couple of paragraphs here for us. Google's making an ambitious play for a bigger slice of the 21st century. Most important, the chips that power artificial intelligence. Its financial might and years of technical development put it in prime position to succeed. One obstacle it has to contend with: tech companies' fear of crossing Jensen Huang's Nvidia. So at the end of the day, I mean, sure, Nvidia practically has a chokehold because, I mean, everything uses CUDA, and so I mean, Jensen Huang is he understands that a lot of his customers are looking into something different for to diversify a little bit, to change their vendors up a little bit for obviously competitor type advantages. But anyways, and they don't want to be stuck to the same vendor for the longest time, which is in Nvidia. They don't want to be, I mean, stuck in that that world and not be able to have choices. And I think obviously that's what Jensen Huang wants, is for everything to be stuck tied to Nvidia. But sounds like Google's having some success here, and this is what they're trying to do right here. Okay, I'm going to read this right here. The site in Western New York is host to an AI data center cluster known as Lake Mariner. Alphabet, owned Google, has provided a $3.2 billion financial guarantee for the project, whose developers will rent the computing power from thousands of its microprocessors to the AI giant Anthropic, according to people familiar with the matter. It's the same strategy that NVIDIA has used time and again to stoke already blazing demand for its own artificial intelligence chips. So, I mean, if you think about it, right? I mean, oftentimes these companies, the one main thing that they do is they look at what their competitors are doing, and then they don't want to be left behind. That's essentially what Alphabet is trying to do. They're trying to use NVIDIA's playbook. That's what this article is trying to tell us, to find success, further success with their TPUs. And so that sounds like good news for Alphabet. I think with the growth of AI, there's going to be a lot of success for every large company out there. But obviously, nobody wants to be left behind. Everybody wants to be first, because the thing is, you want to be either Uber or Lyft, preferably Uber, right? And at this point right now, it's third place, fourth place aren't gonna be a part of it. Same thing as the whole Chat GBT versus Claude, right? The Open AI versus Anthropic. There's gonna be, they're looking at number one or two only. So that's my opinion, at least. Okay, so I think this is great news for Google. Google obviously has a strong ecosystem with everything that they've got their hands on. Right, we use Google on an everyday basis, and that's exactly how they leveraged Gemini to support all of their all of their services to make it even better, and that's why their stock rose, right, from all the way down here up here when Gemini came out. Everybody was very impressed with it, and Gemini is built off of the TPUs, right? We're talking about how Alphabet wants their share of that chip market as well. So, anyways, looking pretty darn good for Alphabet. In my opinion, I certainly will keep an eye on them. I like them very much long term. If you're going to play this game for the long, I mean, Google's gonna be around, in my opinion. So, anyways, thank you so much for watching. My name's Curtis. I hope you got some good information that helped you out in this right here. A lot of these articles, right? Again, if you watch my content, a couple of the articles were genuine to me. I didn't go through it prior, so I'm glad to be able to share this stuff with you guys. If you liked this video, hey, click that thumbs up. Give me a thumbs up. I'd appreciate that so much. Click subscribe if you'd like to hear more about stocks. I like to try to drop information for you all, whenever I have the opportunity. So thank you guys so much. It's Friday evening. Have a good evening and make it a great weekend. All right. Take care.